What's up, Saab fans around the world, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to 2025. So, to start off the year, I had hoped for a better beginning, but it is what it is. So, I think I owe you an explanation. It has been around 90 days since I last uploaded a video on YouTube, so it has been a while, and it has its reasons, to say the least. So here we have the main reason why I have not uploaded any videos. I've been doing everything in my power to get this car up and running, to get it street legal, so I finally can take it out on the roads. But there has been a ton of obstacles that I have tried to overcome the fastest way possible so I could start make the videos again, because the work that I have been doing has been just a lot of rework of stuff and stuff failing on me that has worked before. So I will just run you through a couple of the problems. And the other issue that I was facing is outside here. My NG95 that decided to give up on the timing chain, which is very common on the NG95 with the Turbo 4 engine. So here is some pieces that was in the oil pan, in the sump of the car. And yeah, the chain and some other parts, it failed. So if you have followed this build from the beginning, so this is my Saab 95 Aero year 2000, which I have converted to rear wheel drive. So twisted the engine, new gearbox, prop shaft, custom built rear end with Opel Omega parts and some custom parts. Mostly the parts are Saab, but some other parts has been acquired as well, and some have been manufactured. But either way, this car, in I think it was October last year, it was completely tested by Testa, the Swedish organization for making the car street legal. So I had all the papers, everything. So what I was supposed to do was just go in to do the final inspection and get it road legal. So when the first time I was there, it leaked a little bit of oil. It was just dripping when I was there. So I returned home. I located the failure to the back of the oil pan, and I tried to seal it up. So I removed the oil pan, installed it back again with new sealer, and I thought it was cool. So I took it for a test drive, and it felt like, no, it's dripping again. So back home again, got another sealer, and I have tested so many sealants right now, and this is actually the best one I have tried yet. So this is a Loctite product, and this has worked super good. But either way, I tested this one, took the car once again to the inspection because I had driven around the block and I have been out on the roads as well. Driven for like half an hour, no leaks. So booked a new time, drove in, and it was leaking at the parking lot outside the inspection. So I went home again. Like a couple of weeks went by. I did another. Then I actually took down the oil pan and saw that the flange of the oil pan was a little bit warped or crooked. So I had a friend help me with it. It was not easy, but he managed to flatten the surface so it was 100% straight. So I got this sealer that I showed you, the Loctite, installed it back, and the oil pan was finally sealed. So that was perfect. So I drove into the inspection once again with the eager to just get this car out on the road and get it up and running again. But when I went in on the lift, we could see oil drops hanging down from the rear end between the engine and the gearbox. So I thought, and I got good friends that helped me locate some issues as well, and of course you guys watching. So I thought the rear crank seal is a typical point. If you don't change it when you change gearbox or when you change clutch, it could potentially start to leak. So it was a new seal, but when I rebuilt the engine in just before the Saab festival last year, I reused the old one, and it should be quite okay. I have only driven like a couple of 100 kilometers probably. But either way, I thought that was the problem, so I removed the engine. It's an engine out job on this car. I did install a new seal, which should be a better seal, and I also Loctited the bolts for the flywheel. And when I installed the engine and did the build from the beginning, I wanted to have a lightened flywheel. So this is my Saab 9000 flywheel. It's from a B234R, so an Aero engine. It doesn't matter, all the 9000s has the same flywheel. But either way, this has been removed material, so it's 2 kilograms or 2000 grams lighter than it would be from the beginning. But one of my friends, Hugo, said that it's very, very important that you get it balanced, because like a couple of grams off would be terrible when you rev the engine. And I guess that has been the issue from the beginning, but in leading up to the Saab festival, I just wanted to have the car running, so I installed everything back again. I installed new bearings, yeah, the whole lot, everything. We got the new crank, everything. Because as you might know, it died on the dyno before. But then I started to run the car. I did all the testing with Testa, and I got the engine out, as I said, once again. I installed a new rear crank seal, did Loctite on the bolts, and I just wanted to get it up and running. And I installed a new flywheel because I thought that the unbalanced flywheel was causing the issue with like vibrations and so on. So that was done. Then it came snow. Yeah, it's just a bunch of stuff that has been going on. And yesterday I wanted to take it out because right now we don't have snow on the roads, and I only have summer tires on this car. Winter tires are on the way. But I took the car out, took it for a drive, like 20 minutes. Everything seemed to be quite okay. But then I did a little pull and it started to hesitate a little bit. So I drove home, let the car idle outside, and this is what it looked like and what it sounded like when I did the idling. So it idled quite okay, I would say. It was running a little bit rough, a little bit uneven, you could hear by the tone of the exhaust. But I reversed the car up on the driveway. I started to fill some air in the tires because the right front tire was a little bit low. And I got into the car again because from the first failure of the engine, I installed oil pressure gauge so I can have control of it, which is phenomenal. It's super good. But it showed low pressure. It showed 0.5 bars of oil pressure, which is very low. It's too low. When it's idling, it should be around, I think it's like 0.9 around there. But yeah, it was too low. And I don't know exactly why it was too low, but it went low on the oil pressure and then the head started to tick. So I guess the lifters start to tick when they don't get the correct oil pressure and oil feed to them. So when I revved it a little bit, it was okay and it settled down. But as soon as I let go of the throttle, you get the low oil pressure, and yeah, it wasn't sounding good. It was sounding like this. So the ticking started when I had the car running at optimum temperature. The oil was up to working temperature, so it was pretty thin, I guess. And one thing would be to just change the oil and get a thicker oil. Maybe that could keep the oil pressure up, but my guess is that the bearings are damaged. So I got a new set of bearings from Maptune Parts. So that is ready to go in, and my friend Gerard has a new crankshaft if that needs to be reinstalled, but it takes a few hours to get the engine out and to do everything. But in this case, I think it's better to just do the job and have it running as it should, rather than to take shortcuts all the time, because the last 3 months I have rushed the jobs because I want to get it done. And maybe it's time to just settle down, try to think of every possible thing that could be wrong and try to fix those once and for all, so I can have it driving and ready in time for the summer. But I think I would do a test start right now, and we could see how the car runs and if it's ticking still. My guess is that when the oil is cold, you get a much higher oil pressure, so I guess it will be okay. But we will give it a go. I mean, the damage is already done. And I have noticed also that it's a little bit harder to start the car, so that could also be the case for the bearings. And you can see when the oil is cold, it gets up to 6 bar, but as it gets hotter, it will cool down. But right now I would say that it runs perfectly fine. I mean, this is like perfect. It makes a little bit of unpremium noises when you give it a little bit of throttle. right now it doesn't tick at least, but as soon as I get it up to temperature, it will start to rattle once again. We will just turn it off for right now. So I don't know, what would you guys have done in this situation? Would you just drop the oil, get a thicker oil? Because right now I'm running a 5W30, which is recommended by Saab. I mean, the bearings are most likely damaged. But I don't know how damaged they are, because when I rev it a little bit, it's quite okay, but yeah, I don't know. And if I would get another oil, that wouldn't really fix the issue, but maybe I could get it through the inspection and get the car registered, so all of that is done. But still, I think it's an engine out job. So leave a comment down below. What would you have done? Fix the problem, get it up and running perfectly as it should. I think that's the best case. Or get a thicker oil and just get it through the registration, so that part is done. Leave a comment down below. If you have any questions, leave them down below as well. I will try to get some new videos up, and it's just the motivation part of everything. But if you are interested in see the rebuild and see the damage of all the bearings, please leave a comment down below and I will see if I could upload some videos as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, have a good one. Bye.